Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to discuss regarding the provisions of Companies Act 2013 that deals with minority squeeze out, which has gradually become an area of immense interest. Friends, the concept of majority ruling over minority is not new. There may be several reasons because of which majority shareholders may intend to throw out the minority shareholders. Maybe because of the rivalry, maybe because of the intention to become whole and sole owner of the target company, or maybe the shareholder has become disinterested in running the business. Why am I using this term squeeze out? Because the term here reflects a situation whereby controller shareholders undertake a transaction to forcibly acquire the shares of the remaining shareholders. There are many provisions in the Act that provides for minority squeeze out. And MCA, by its circular dated 3rd February 2020, has added yet another way for the squeezing out of minorities, which are subsection 11 and 12 of section 230. So in today's session, we will focus on section 230, subsection 11 and 12, section 235, and section 236. Let us start with section 230 first. Friends, section 230 of the Companies Act provides for compromise and arrangement. Compromise with the creditors and arrangement with the shareholders. For the purpose of this section, a scheme of arrangement has to be drafted, and the consent of shareholders, creditors, respective regulatory authorities, and adjudicating authority is required. This section provides for compromise and arrangement between company and shareholders or class thereof, company and the creditors or class thereof. The application can be filed by company or creditor or member or liquidator in case the company is under liquidation. And the power to approve the scheme has been provided to the tribunal. So the draft scheme has to be placed first before the board of directors of the respective companies, transfer company and the transferee company. Then application has to be filed to the NCLT for praying for the NCLT convene meeting. Here, if say suppose the respective companies are able to take approval from at least 90% of their shareholders and creditors, in that circumstances, NCLT will dispense with the meeting of shareholders and creditors. However, in case the company is not able to take approval of their respective shareholders and creditors, at least 90%, in that situation, the respective companies have to pray to the NCLT for the necessary direction for NCLT convene meeting. As per the direction of NCLT, meeting of shareholders and creditors is required to be held. Consent of majority in person representing 3/4 in value of the total number of shareholders and creditors present and voted at the meeting are required. Copy of application has to be served to all the regulatory authorities and like regional director, registrar of companies, official liquidator, and income tax authority. In case the company is a listed company, in that situation, copy of application has to be served to SEBI. In case the company is an NBFC, in that situation, the copy of application has to be served to RBI. Newspaper advertisement in vernacular daily and one in English daily has also required to be published. Friends, why we are giving a copy of application to the respective regulatory authorities? This is for inviting objection from them within a period of 30 days. So if they have any objection in the proposed scheme of arrangement, they can submit their objection to the NCLT. The respective regulatory authorities, especially regional director and official liquidator, submits their list of queries to the respective companies. Companies are required to submit their response to the regional director and official liquidator. Based on the response submitted by the respective companies, regional director and official liquidator submit their report to the NCLT. NCLT, while considering the report of the respective regulatory authorities, will ask the company to move ahead with the second motion. Second motion petition is filed for approval of the scheme. So, in the second motion petition, the company prays to the NCLT for approving the proposed scheme of arrangement. Copy of petition again has to be served to all the regulatory authorities. Now this time regulatory authorities will not serve a copy of a separate set of questions. Based on the report submitted earlier, NCLT will direct and NCLT will approve the schemes submitted by the respective companies if deemed fit. Now, section 230 subsection 4 that provides for right to object of shareholders holding at least 10% of the share capital of the company, either individually or collectively, or right to object of the creditors holding at least 5% of the total debt of the company, holding either individually or collectively. So the copy of order of NCLT has to be filed to the registrar of companies within the period of 30 days. Now, coming to the newly added subsections, which is subsection 11 and 12. Friends, the newly added subsection provides for takeover offer by the shareholders holding at least 3/4 of the share capital of the company to the remaining holders, either partly or fully. For this as well, a scheme has to be prepared, an application has to be filed. Valuation is also required to be done as per the possible price parameter, and 50% of the consideration amount has to be deposited in a separate bank account. So the newly added subsection can be used for takeover of shares by an unlisted company. Why am I saying that this can be used only for the takeover by an unlisted company? Because for the listed company, SEBI takeover regulation is already there in place, and that provides for detailed procedure to be followed by listed companies. As regards approval from shareholders and creditors, I am the shareholder holding majority chunk. In fact, 3/4 of the share capital of the share capital of the company as required under section 230. So in that case, actually there should not be any requirement of holding separate meeting of shareholders. As regards consent of creditors is concerned, so creditors' interest is not getting prejudiced. So the concept of separate holding of meeting of creditors should also not arise. However, how NCLT is following the procedure has to be seen. So there may be a situation where NCLT will direct for filing of second motion petition directly instead of filing for NCLT convene meeting. Rest other requirements are same. Requirements of filing the objection from the respective regulatory authorities, filing application with the NCLT, all the procedures shall remain same. So let us see the provision at a glance. So the provisions start with preparation of a scheme under section 230 subsection 11. Copy of application has this draft scheme has to be prepared. Copy of application has to be filed to the NCLT either for getting dispensation or NCLT convene meeting, or in case NCLT approves, then directly for the approval of the scheme. Copy of application has to be served to all the regulatory authorities for inviting their objection, if any, within a period of 30 days. Respective regulatory authorities will submit their list of queries, and the companies are required to submit their response. If satisfied by the report of NCLT, by the report of the respective regulatory authorities, NCLT will approve the scheme. So this is all about the process to be followed under section 230 subsection 11. Now coming to the subsection 12. Friends, this subsection provides for relief to the aggrieved party. This says that any aggrieved party shall have a right to move ahead with the application to the NCLT. So one can say that under section 230 for takeover offer, 2/4 protection is available to the aggrieved shareholders and creditors. One is under section 230 subsection 4 and the other one is section 230 subsection 12. While the first one is can be opted during the hearing of the application, the other one can be used after the approval of the application. Now, who can be the aggrieved party? Can a shareholder holding one share and being not in favor of the arrangement can file the application? The answer is no. The issue was discussed in JJ Irani committee report, and it was concluded that minimum limit has to be provided so that the very purpose of introduction of this section can be achieved. Now, coming to section 235 of the Companies Act 2013, which is, one can say, is the most untouched section of the Companies Act. Section 235 provides for power to acquire shares of shareholders dissenting from scheme or contract approved by majority. In other words, one can say that this section provides for a friendly takeover of a target company. Why we are saying it as a friendly takeover? Because the section provides for an offer from the transferee company to the transferor company. Now, say if I am company A, I already hold 70% shares in company B, and I have given offer to the balance 30% holder of company B for acquiring their shares. Out of those 30%, say 90%, that is 90% of 30%, which is 27% shareholders agreed to my offer within 4-month period, and rest 3% not consented. So after the expiry of those 4-month period and within next 2 months, I have to give notice to the 3% shareholders that I want to acquire their shares. So those balance 3% shareholders shall have right either to file an application with the NCLT or to accept my offer. If, say, suppose those shareholders neither file any application to the NCLT, neither accept my offer, in that circumstances, I shall become entitled to acquire their shares. The acquirer shall send the notice along with the instrument of transfer and pay the amount of consideration to the target company, who shall deposit the amount in a separate bank account and make arrangement to disburse the same within a period of 60 days. Now, let's take an example. Say, suppose the remaining 3% shareholders file an application with the NCLT, but the application is pending to be heard. Will I be entitled to get the share, to acquire their shares? The answer is no. Until unless the application is getting disposed of by the NCLT, I shall not be entitled to those remaining shareholders, those remaining shares. So let us see the entire section 235 at a glance in this slide of PPT. So now we can see the entire transactions getting completed within a period of 7 months. Let's discuss regarding section 236 now. So now coming to the next section, section 236, which provides for purchasing of minority shareholding. This section provides for acquiring shares of the minority shareholders by the shareholders holding at least 90% or more of the share capital of the company. Say I was a shareholder of 60% shares of a company, say company A. By virtue of amalgamation or by virtue of conversion or otherwise, I got further 30%. So now I can opt for this section. I have become eligible for this section, section 236. This section also provides for an offer. Like section 235, there is again an offer to be given by the majority shareholder to the minority shareholders at a price determined by the registered holder. In fact, this section provides for the offer to be given by the minority shareholder by the majority shareholder to acquire their shares. That minority shareholder intends to sell their shares to the majority shareholder, they can also approach to the majority shareholders. The amount has to be transferred to the separate bank account for a period of 1 year. Those who could not get their entitlement within a period of 1 year can get it within a period of next 60 days. So here the offer is from the shareholder to the shareholder, and the company whose share is getting transferred shall have to act as an agent only. The minority shareholders are required to transfer their shares in the name of the majority shareholder, and in case of absence of such physical delivery, those shares can be treated as deemed cancelled. Means physical delivery of the shares is not mandatory in this particular section. The company has to complete the entire share transfer process. The minority shareholders holding at least 75% shares of the company shall have right to negotiate with the majority holders as well under this section. Now let us quickly see the difference between the 3 subsections that we have just now discussed. Let's come to section 230 subsection 11. The first criteria is eligible acquirer. So in case of section 230 subsection 11, the acquirer has to hold at least 75% shares in a company. In case of 235, there is no minimum holding is required. In section 236, the minimum holding is 90%. Eligible target company, as I already mentioned, in case of section 230, subsection 11, the company has to be an unlisted company only, because for the listed companies, SEBI takeover regulation is already there. There is no such criteria provided in section 235 and 236. Next, coming to threshold for the approval. For section 230, the threshold shall be majority in person representing 3/4 in value in case of for members and creditors. In case of section 235, approval of 9/10 of the remaining shareholders is required. And in case of 236, no approval is required, as a majority chunk is been held by the acquired company only. Meaning of shares. In case of section 230, it's provided that shares include securities as well. For section 235 and section 236, shares means equity share capital of the company only. Involvement of the scheme. For section 230, subsection 11, scheme has to be drafted. For section 235 as well, the scheme has to be drafted. However, no such scheme is required in case of section 236. Involvement of NCLT. For section 230, subsection 11, NCLT's approval is there in first stage and second stage of petition as well, in both the stages. In case of section 235, NCLT's approval is not required at the prelim stage. However, the dissenting shareholder may file the application to the NCLT. In case of section 236, there's no involvement of NCLT. Next, suo motu offered by the minority shareholder. There's no such provision in section 230, subsection 11 and section 235. However, the provision is there in section 236. Exclusion of related parties. Related parties are not excluded for the purpose of section 230, subsection 11. However, excluded for the purpose of section 235. Related parties are not excluded for the purpose of section 236. Scope of filing of application by the dissenting shareholder. It's there in section 230, subsection 11, is there in section 235 as well. However, no such scope has been provided for section 236. Payment of purchase consideration, as I already mentioned, for the purpose of section 230, subsection 11, 50% of the total purchase consideration has to be deposited in a separate bank account. In case of section 235, the amount only has to be paid at the time of filing of the application by the dissenting shareholders only. And in case of section 236, the amount has to be paid immediately after giving the offer. Delivery of share certificate, there is no specific provision in section 230, subsection 11. So process of section 230 has to be followed. In case of section 235, not required, as a target company can on behalf of the shareholder execute the transfer. For section 236, specific delivery is required. In the event of non-delivery, target company can do the needful as an agent. Friends, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the discussion, that there are several provisions in the Companies Act that provides for minorities squeezing out. So apart from the section that I have just discussed, there are other provisions as well, which is section 61(1)(b), consolidation of shares, section 66 of Companies Act that provides for reduction of share capital, buyback. For consideration of shares as well, we all know that application has to be filed to NCLT, as the section provides for consolidation of nominal value of shares into a higher number. This may result in the decrease in the total number of shares and increase in the nominal value of the shares. So if the process involves changes in the shareholding pattern of the company, application has to be filed to NCLT. In case the rest of the provisions are regarding reduction of share capital. Friends, if you have any query regarding today's discussion, please drop your queries at corplaw@vinodkothari.com. Thank you so much.